Okay, paragraph 7. I meet this American government, or its representative, the state government, directly and face to face once a year, no more, in the person of its tax gatherer. That's the only time he interacts with anybody from the government. This is back when the government was a lot smaller and a lot less part of our lives. So once a year, he meets the tax collector. The tax collector represents the government. This is the only mode in which a man situated as I am necessarily meets it. And it then says distinctly, recognize me. And the simplest, the most effectual, and in the present posture of affairs, the indispensablest mode of treating with it on this head, of expressing your little satisfaction with or love for it, is to deny them. So he's saying the only way I can make my case known, my grievance with the government for going to war with Mexico, is to not give them what they want. Okay, the government sends a tax collector. They want my money. I'm not going to give them my money. Remember, that's why I went to prison. My civil neighbor, the tax gatherer, okay, this guy lives in the same town as him, is the very man I have to deal with. For it is, after all, with men and not with parchment that I quarrel. And he has voluntarily chosen to be an agent of the government. How shall he ever know well that he is and does as an officer of the government, or as a man, until he is obliged to consider whether he will treat me, his neighbor, for whom he has respect, as a neighbor and well-disposed man, or as a maniac and disturber of the peace, and see if he can get over this obstruction to his neighborliness without a ruder and more impetuous thought or speech corresponding with his action. Okay, so he's just saying, I've got to interact with the tax collector. Okay, and he's got to decide whether he's going to treat me like a criminal or still have respect for me. Okay, but whatever it is, Thoreau's going to do what he thinks is right. All right, so he goes on. I know this well, that if 1,000, if 100, if 10 men whom I could name, notice it goes from 1,000 men to 100 men to 10, says if 10 honest men only, if one honest man, just one, in this state of Massachusetts, he lived in Massachusetts, by the way, ceasing to hold slaves, were actually to withdraw from this co-partnership and be locked up in the county jail, therefore, it would be the abolition of slavery in America. He's just saying if you get one person to go against it, in this case, slavery, get one person to actually do something. Everybody, a lot of these Northerners did not like slavery, but nobody did anything about it. He says, if I did something about it, that would be the abolition or the end of slavery in America. For it matters not how small the beginning may seem to be. What is once well done is done forever. He says, it's just the beginning. Again, you got to think about this. Massachusetts did not have slavery at this time. It was illegal in Massachusetts. So he's not really talking about slavery in Massachusetts. He's talking about making a stand for something, and that's how a cause begins. Okay, if you can get one person to do what they think is right, that will gather steam, it'll snowball, and more people will join, and eventually it will, in this case, like for his example, be the end of slavery. Okay, but you've got to stand up to them. That's what's key here. That will bring you to question number 13. Why did Thoreau not pay his neighbor, the tax collector? Then number 14, what is Thoreau saying in these lines? And that's it for that one.